My wife bluntly declared she was unhappy with me, cheated with another man, would take the house and kids while demanding I pay for everything. But she didn't expect my plan to leave her with nothing. I am a 46-year-old man. 14 days ago, Lucia, my 40-year-old wife, was standing in the kitchen that I myself had remodeled with tiles, and she confessed everything, without filters, without showing any emotion, without a trace of guilt, simply an ice-cold statement. I am not happy, Fernando. I have not been for a long time. It would have been considerate to let me know before destroying our 17 years together, but oh well. Then came the final blow. Indeed, there was someone else, and it had been going on for quite some time. My only reaction was to nod my head. Inside, I felt as if a void was trying to consume me from my chest. On the outside, I maintained a neutral expression. All those years of solving business problems had prepared me for this. Then, that superior smile appeared on her face. That expression of pure arrogance was what really hit me. You will never be able to prove it, she told me. Raul is extremely cautious, and, even if you did, good luck to you. The house will be mine. The children stay with me, of course, and you will cover all the expenses. You will be left with nothing. She straightened up with pride, as if she had practiced that speech, challenging me with her gaze. Do you think I have not consulted a lawyer? I know perfectly well what I am entitled to, she added with a dismissive tone. You have always been too naive, Fernando. It is your nature. I observed her carefully. I truly contemplated the woman who had been my partner, the mother of 14-year-old Sofia and 10-year-old Mateo, and instead of feeling sadness, I experienced an absolute and icy clarity. All right, Lucia, was my response. Nothing more. Just that, all right. 7 days have passed since then, and, wow, what a week it has been. The envelope arrived within the first 6 hours. After she received it, there was silence. Complete silence. Lucia was not home when it was delivered. Upon returning, she found it on the kitchen counter. I watched her take it from my position in the living room, maintaining that haughty attitude. She surely thought I was giving up. She could not have been more wrong. She took it to the guest room. After an hour, I heard something strange. It was not exactly a scream, more like a choked sound. Then, nothing. A deep and disturbing silence. That same night, she appeared completely pale, with a lost look in her eyes, with no trace of her previous attitude. Without saying a word to me, she went straight for a glass of wine and locked herself in her room. The result, the next day, my legal representative, Mr. Martinez, an excellent professional but fierce when the situation requires it, received the first communication. It did not come from Lucia, but from Ms. Morales. Martinez told me that Morales sounded uneasy, very different from the combative tone of their previous exchanges. Ms. Morales hinted that perhaps there had been a misunderstanding regarding the original demands. Martinez told me, with a certain humor in his tone, that he suggested scheduling a meeting to explore more cooperative options. Of course. Meanwhile, Lucia is a complete mess. She shows no remorse, but she does have the attitude of a cornered person. She keeps insisting on her rights, but mixed with evident anxiety. 48 hours ago, she tried to confront me. She intercepted me in the kitchen. Fernando, what was in that envelope? She asked me in a low voice, with a nervous look. You opened it, Lucia? You tell me. This is crazy. You cannot use that. It violates my privacy. Her voice rose with that accusatory tone I know so well. Are we talking about privacy, Lucia? Like when you were with Raul in our own bed, or when you used resources that belonged to our family, marital money, for that supposed spiritual retreat that turned out to be a week-long getaway at an exclusive hotel with him. The investigator I hired was very meticulous. Every penny invested was worth it. Her face lost all color. You spied on me. I gathered information, Lucia. Information. You were so convinced I would never find out anything. You still will not win, she hissed. Morales assures me this does not affect custody or the property. How optimistic. As was predictable, the dirty tricks began. She told Sofia that I was trying to leave her mother on the street and without resources. Sofia came crying to find me. It was a difficult conversation. I gathered Sofia and Mateo. I spoke to them according to their level of understanding. I explained that problems between adults are complex, that Dad would never let them lack for anything, that he loves them more than anything in the world. Lucia tried to interrupt, accusing me of turning them against her. The nerve. She contacted my sister crying, claiming that I had transformed into someone obsessed with ruining her. My sister already knows Lucia's melodrama. She called me. I gave her the unvarnished facts. Full support for Fernando. Yesterday, Lucia disconnected the internet, changed the passwords, and hid the modem cable. If I was going to get tough, so was she. A petty and childish attitude. I used my cell phone's mobile data and ordered a new cable. It arrived today. My silence is affecting her more than any verbal confrontation. Morales requested a mediation session with urgent character. Martinez accepted. He reaffirmed our position: equal shared custody, sale of the property, recovery of the marital funds she diverted, and zero alimony, considering her actions and her work capacity. She has a good job, just as she liked to spend my money. Martinez informed me that Morales rejected the idea of not receiving alimony. Deep-rooted customs. The content of the envelope was an exhaustive report from the investigator. Dates, times, locations, receipts from romantic scenes, hotel confirmations, discreet photographs of her with Raul, a stockbroker with an overly confident attitude, all financed with her personal card. However, the investigator verified that this account was fed by her salary earned during our marriage, turning those expenses into misuse of marital assets. Also, copies of emails sent to Raul from her corporate email. Advice: never use the company's system for adventures. In these messages, she detailed how she would leave me with nothing, described my supposed naivety, and planned to make the children understand that I was the problem. The cherry on top was a brief audio recording. A friend, Gabriela, who had noticed Lucia's growing disdain for me, had lunch with her 5 weeks ago. After 2 glasses of white wine, Lucia let loose. Gabriela, already worried and sensing important revelations, discreetly activated the recording when Lucia began to detail her escape plan, how she would manipulate the judge with tears, paint me as emotionally absent, and how Raul was attracted to her ruthless attitude. That was the envelope. Her lawyer's communications with mine are now less desperate, more resigned. Lucia is going through the stages: denial, anger, pathetic attempts at manipulation. This is not over at all, but the arrogance has disappeared. For now, it is progress. Update 2. Several weeks have passed. The situation became intense and then calmed down, almost like a sudden blow. The mediation session arrived. Morales and Lucia on one side of the table, Martinez and I on the other. Lucia began with her performance, crying about how her life was shattered, that I was spiteful. Morales's hand consoling her on her arm while looking at me as if I were despicable. Martinez, with complete serenity, placed a document on the table. It was an organized summary of the evidence from the envelope with a courteous note indicating that we were ready to present all of it during the discovery process and, if necessary, in court. Any judge, especially one evaluating custody, would consider it extremely relevant. The show ended abruptly. Lucia stared at the paper, completely broken. Morales reviewed the content and her expression tensed. "This constitutes a flagrant invasion of privacy," Morales exclaimed, although her voice lacked conviction. "We will file motions to prevent it. It is inadmissible." Martinez sketched a subtle smile. "You are within your rights." The investigator's evidence was obtained within the legal framework. Regarding the emails, they were stored on corporate servers. When we formally requested her employer's financial records via subpoena, their legal department, upon reviewing documents related to the possible diversion of funds, discovered the extensive misuse of company resources for her affair and these plans. They handed them over as part of their official response to the subpoena, mentioning internal policies on misuse of resources. The recording, her 5th, was in a public space, bragging to third parties. There is no reasonable expectation of privacy. We are confident that everything will hold up. Total silence. Lucia seemed physically affected. Morales tried to argue that the money Lucia spent with Raul were gifts between acquaintances, personal expenses. Martinez replied, several thousand in unreported gifts and getaways with her lover, while she plans to declare herself without resources to request alimony. The term any judge would use is misappropriation of marital assets. Greed is like an insatiable beast. After Morales warned her that her demands were toxic, Lucia tried a different tactic with me. Later, she intercepted me when the children were not present. "Fernando, please," she said with a broken voice. Good performance. Think about Sofia and Matteo. If this gets nasty, they will suffer the consequences. Can we not reach my terms for their well-being? Using my children as a bargaining chip for her ambition, any remaining compassion evaporated. The only one making this nasty is you, Lucia, I replied in a low voice. My terms are reasonable, to protect the children, to safeguard what is rightfully ours. Your terms sought my ruin. Negotiations based on your delusions are over. She stomped the floor in frustration. You are ruthless, you always were. I will tell everyone what you are doing to me. I will tell the children you are a spiteful abuser. Do it, I replied as I walked away. They are perceptive. They observe more than you imagine. The next dirty trick was trying to get me arrested. One night, she contacted the police claiming I had threatened her and she feared for her safety. 2 officers arrived. Calmly, I explained the situation, showed the divorce documents, mentioned my lawyer. Lucia's award-worthy drama did not convince anyone. The officers understood the situation, warned her about the consequences of making false reports, and left. She took refuge in the guest room for 24 hours. Then came the smear campaign, messages to mutual friends, ambiguous posts on social media about surviving narcissistic abuse. The irony is remarkable. True friends saw the reality. Some gossips believed it. It affected me, I will not deny it. Being slandered by the person with whom I built a life hurts. But then I would review Martinez's file, and the pain would dissipate. The most significant consequence for her was that Morales intensely pressured Lucia to reach a settlement very similar to my initial proposal. The audio where she plans to commit perjury and speaks ill of me to get custody was decisive in changing Morales's aggressive strategy. Lying in court has serious repercussions. If that recording were presented, Lucia could face sanctions. Morales's professional reputation would be compromised. Her latest proposal was that Lucia agrees to sell the house, an equal division of the real marital assets, deducting the $18,000 she spent with Raul, meticulously calculated, fighting intensely for alimony. But Morales, hesitating, suggested a modest temporary transitional pension. We stand firm, 0. She has the ability to work. She created this situation. Custody remains the most contentious point. She is terrified of not getting primary custody. Her documented intention to alienate and lie seriously damaged her position. Martinez is confident we will achieve 50-50 shared legal and physical custody, possibly with a parenting coordinator. She no longer shows arrogance. She is bitter, resentful. She continues to believe she is the victim, that I betrayed her by not being naive. Her lawyer's calls are no longer desperate. She is just trying to salvage something from her client's disaster. It is exhausting, I will not deny it. Some days the weight is overwhelming. But then Matteo tells a silly joke or Sofia asks me for help with her homework, and I remember why. It is not for revenge, it is for the truth, for justice, so that my children understand that actions have consequences, that their father will not be intimidated. Final update. It is all over. The divorce was finalized 7 days ago. These last few months were like dragging a heavy burden. The mediation process turned out to be a farce. Lucia alternated between total silence and tearful outbursts full of recriminations. Morales seemed to be counting every second that passed. In the end, it was not necessary to go to trial for most of the issues. The weight of the evidence contained in the envelope, especially the recording and the emails, precipitated the whole process dramatically, forcing Morales to make decisions much faster than anticipated. A summary of the final agreements. The sale of the house was finalized. After paying off the mortgage and deducting the $18,000 from the fund intended for Raul that Lucia diverted, Martinez managed to get the division of the resulting capital to be an equal 50-50 split. I used my portion as a down payment for a smaller house. Lucia, after covering legal fees and getting an apartment, definitely not the mansion she envisioned, is not enjoying the luxurious lifestyle she had planned to share with Raul. Oh surprise! Raul disappeared when her financial outlook became less attractive. Custody was the most intense battle. Her reaction was explosive when the 50-50 shared legal and physical custody was confirmed. No primary custody for her. The evidence of her plans for parental alienation and her intention to lie under oath weighed too heavily. Now we have a defined schedule, a court-ordered application for all communications, and the judge gave her a serious warning about her conduct as a mother. The children are processing all of this. It has not been easy, but they show strength. They see us both on a regular, established basis. Mateo asked me why Mom was so upset. I explained that adults go through difficult times sometimes, but that we both love him and Sofia very much. Alimony, none. Her ability to generate income is adequate. Her behavior was decisive. Morales practically did not even try to fight this point in the end. Regarding other assets, vehicles, remaining savings, retirement funds, it was a standard distribution after accounting for the $18,000. To say that Lucia is not satisfied would be a huge understatement. She is furious, full of resentment, unable to process how her master plan fell apart. In her mental narrative, she is still the victim. She signed the documents radiating pure hostility towards me. Not a hint of remorse. No apology, zero introspection. People who feel entitled to everything rarely experience moments of clarity. We ran into each other at Sofia's school play a few days ago. She ignored me completely. Afterwards, she commented to another parent, loud enough for me to hear, that she was finally free from an oppressive marriage. I just sketched a half smile, staying focused on Sofia, who was shining in her role as a talking tree. My satisfaction does not come from seeing her in difficulty, although I admit that a dark part of me appreciates the poetic justice. The true satisfaction comes from the peace of mind of knowing that I defended my rights and those of my children. There were moments of vulnerability due to her arrogance and betrayal, of course. Lonely nights, anxiety for the children, extreme fatigue, days where I considered giving up everything just for it to stop. But Martinez and my sister kept me centered. Do not set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm, my sister would remind me. Pure wisdom. I am not celebrating. Divorces are terrible, regardless of the circumstances. They represent the end of an illusion, but I do not dwell on what was lost. I prefer to focus on what I have kept, my children, my dignity, my future. My home is quieter now, more serene. Mateo and I build things with blocks. Sofia and I bake desserts together. They are simple moments, but they are everything. She considered me weak. She thought I would fall apart. She was convinced she could take everything from me. She was dead wrong. The envelope represented the truth, and, as they say, the truth sets you free. For Lucia, it meant facing the just consequences of her decisions. Honestly, more satisfying than any revenge.